Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Health Coaches Podcast. I'm Kevin Davis.
And I'm Howard Jacobson.
And we're your hosts here.
Yeah, this is our first one, so we thought we'd talk about what this podcast is and whom it's for. So the first thing is this is for health coaches, for people who either make their living or dabble and want to make their living or have a side hustle, helping other people become healthy.
Yeah, and the thing that I almost think we might want to throw in right up front here with that is when you say dabble or you say, a side hustle, that could even mean you're a healthcare professional. And, coaching, you may not consider yourself a coach by name, but coaching is a way of helping people to, to stick to the lifestyle changes that they might want to make. And so people that we've worked with are pharmacists and dietitians and physical therapists and folks that are in that setting.
Yeah, and MDs.
And MDs, yeah.
Right, because
they're healthcare professionals too.
Yeah, you'll never hear me argue that point. Right, because we're essentially aligned with the field of lifestyle medicine.
Yeah.
Right. So we're not looking for health, we're not appealing to health coaches who are into keto or paleo or carnivore or things that are not evidence-based. We're firmly in the evidence-based camp, and lifestyle medicine essentially says that the first and primary way to teach people to treat people with lifestyle conditions, with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, angina, heart disease, cancer, is autoimmune, is through their lifestyle rather than prescribing pills and procedures. And so, of course, the upside of pills and procedures is you give it to them and all they have to do is take it. All they have to be is compliant. They have to show up and get knocked out for surgery, or they have to keep getting their pill boxes and taking their pills on time. With lifestyle, of course, it's much trickier because the healthcare professional doesn't have that much control. So we're relying on the patient to step up and change their own behavior. And so that's why coaching is such an integral part of the entire field of lifestyle medicine.
I love that comparison, Howard. When you talk about giving someone a pill or an operation, the compliance in that setting is literally take this pill, take this glass of water, you're done. And, compliance is actually what we're really working with, right, is helping people to comply with the lifestyle changes. But there's so much more nuance to getting that to happen when it affects what you eat and how you sleep and how you exercise and all those things.
Right. And the issue of compliance is nobody wants to be compliant. Right. Like the minute we use that framing, that word, or even that we're coming from that place, we're generating resistance. So that, we have a problem with using motivational interviewing as a primary tool of coaching because it implies there is a standard that we have to get the other person to agree with. We know what they need to do, and we need to get them to see what we know. So we are approaching it from a position of superiority. And while motivational interviewing has its place, it's a tool, just like a hammer is a tool. But when you start using a hammer to try to, drive in screws or cut wood or change the oil in your gas engine, bad things start to happen.
For sure. Yeah, I've tried hammering in a screw. It's not good.
Yeah, and getting it out is even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is for health coaches and for people who do health coaching. Maybe we should have called this the health coaching podcast, but
health coaching podcast.
We have a graphic, so too late for that.
Yeah, I said it a few seconds ago, so it's official.
Yeah. So this is for people who do health coaching, whether professionally or as part of what else you do, or you're just an advocate for, you want to help people. And so that's a thing you do. And so we're primarily here to help people develop themselves professionally as health coaches. So we're going to create a community around the podcast. So there's going to be, a chance to get to know other people and to network, whether it's for referrals, for jobs in healthcare systems or practices, for mentoring, for training. We're also going to ask people to submit their challenges, because every one of us as coaches faces tough cookies. Right, tough clients. So we're also going to be brainstorming tough client situations as well. Now, one thing we're starting to see people asking of us is to talk about the business of coaching and how do I get more clients and what do I charge and all that. And there are podcasts and there are books and there are people who talk about that a lot. That is not the focus of this podcast. But Kevin, we will be talking about it, but maybe you can kind of give your 2 cents on how that fits into the mission of the show.
Yeah, I mean, to us, certainly there has to be some aspect of you've got to have people in front of you, right, to accomplish the mission of making lifestyle change. If you're just talking to the wall, it's not going to change anybody. But our focus and what we do doesn't really center around that. I really could see that being more something where we could interview someone who actually is an expert in that area, someone who talks about that. We've got a few ideas in mind, but not something that's going to be, every week as we talk, it's going to be, here's how to build your business. Here's how to make more money. Here's how much to charge. We're really focused on the idea that if you're the best coach you can be, and if you're getting results, then that's going to speak for itself. And that's actually the best way to ensure some security in your business. Yeah.
And I love that so much, because when you are like, I was a coach for a long time before I was a good coach. And I kind of had my doubts. Like, I knew that I wasn't helping people that much. And we were having these sort of deep conversations, and the coaching clients, some of them really liked it because I was a good listener. I'm still a good listener, but now I have other things that I can do as well. But they really just enjoyed like somebody paying attention to them. But I had this nagging feeling like I wasn't really helping them move the needle. I wasn't helping them get traction. I didn't really have a system. I just had tons and tons of techniques that I would just sort of pull out of my butt. This is a PG podcast so far. And so I found that my own marketing was stunted by the fact that I didn't really believe in myself. I didn't have that 100% confidence that I can absolutely help you. And when I developed myself as a coach, when I learned models and systems that gave me a step-by-step way to approach things, then all of a sudden it became much easier for me to sell it. And I had to do a lot less selling because now the people I was working with were re-upping. They weren't just doing for 3 sessions and going away and saying, oh, thank you very much, but I've got busy. They wanted to keep working with me, and they would tell other people. And they would gladly submit their before and after stories and testimonials, so that all of the things you can learn about how to market a business, all of a sudden you're not just putting fancy wrapping paper on an empty box. There's a really powerful gift inside.
Yeah. And, Howard, you're probably going to just absolutely love this comment, but there are, aspects of what we do and what we teach that were things that I had used and implemented prior to us working together. But even those aspects, there was a huge change in how I use what I knew just since we put together, Howard and I put together a course for health coaches. And as we were putting that together, it was just really interesting to see this all laid out in kind of a more structured, methodical way of kind of thinking about things, rather than just a toolbox where you're, reaching and grabbing whatever, if hammer pops into your mind at that time, you reach and grab the hammer, whether it's hammer time or not. But, just being able to put that together in a very intentional way has made a huge difference in just kind of how I think about things. And I know from some of the people that other, coaches that we've worked with, that it's made a difference in not only their coaching, but also just personally, as you go through this and learn kind of how to be this better coach, you also better yourself. Coach yourself first.
Yeah. And in fact, that's one of the secrets of, I think, coaching, is that you can only be as good a coach as the vehicle that you've created in your own mind, body, and soul. That, being a coach is a lot about leading and taking courageous steps that your client models. So it means you get to be vulnerable. you get to face some demons. You get to show that you have gone where you want them to go. Because as one of our friends and coaching teachers, Josh Lajani, likes to say, like the big part of coaching is getting people to stop believing their own BS.
Yeah.
And so and that's the hardest thing in the world, right? It's like the easiest. I can't remember who said it, but try not to fool anybody, and the easiest person to fool is yourself. Might have been Richard Feynman. Try not to get fooled, and the easiest person to fool is yourself. So like for us as coaches, it's not just a new technique. It's not just being able to hear certain types of energy. It's really working on ourselves so that we have the capacity. It's almost like, the more sensitive the thermometer or the way the scale is, the more accurate the readings.
Yeah. And I think that we have to look at it as, just keep remembering that it's a continual work in progress, even ourselves. Just because you're a coach, you don't have to be this perfect specimen of everything you're trying to coach people with,
Right. Yeah. If that was the bar, then health coaching would not exist as a profession. We'd all be aspirants.
Yeah. So, but, not to get too deep into kind of what exactly we want health coaching to be or teaching on that. We really wanted to give an idea of what to expect here with this kind of first more introductory episode. So the other thing that I'm thinking that people might want to know is, like, are they ever going to hear from us again, or how often, or what do we foresee this structure being like?
Yeah, I'm thinking like a couple times a week. Some short conversations just about particular topics in coaching. We're going to solicit questions. We are going to do demos. We're going to talk to master coaches in the health field. We're going to talk to people who can help us with business issues. We may do some live demos with some intrepid, brave clients who don't mind appearing and having their issues hashed out publicly in a podcast. I don't know. I don't have the technology to like pixelate faces and change the voice. So
they can hold a piece of paper in front of their face if they want to.
Right. They can hold a headshot of themselves in front of their face.
Well, you want to change the voice, they could just hold a fan and do the Darth Vader thing.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so I'd say every couple of weeks, and we really want to hear from people. Like this is a podcast dedicated to building a community, because one of the things that we've discovered through doing the coach training that we've done, I would say about 2/3 of the people we've coached are already working as coaches in the health field somehow, either in these other professional capacities or as a dedicated health coach. And we're lonely. Like, we don't have places to go to talk about our issues. There's not a structure like like a therapist, a psychotherapist has a group that they meet with every week. And I think we need that. I think we need the accountability. We need the camaraderie. We need the understanding. And so that's our primary goal, is to facilitate the creation of a community where we can all grow and develop together.
Yeah, and the all grow and develop together. That's something that I think is a great point. It's not that everything begins and ends with what Howard and I have to say or something like that. Like, we're these big expert, know everything or whatever. We're here to learn and be a part of this community as well. And that's the business questions that you mentioned is the perfect example. That's not what we specialize in, but as part of the community, maybe that's something that somebody else with more, with that as more of a specialty can bring to the community.
Right. And also, you and I tend to focus more on individuals as opposed to working in health systems or, so we work with the people who are more willing, who come with a higher level of sort of savviness about what they should be doing. So we're going to hear from people who work with completely naive populations, who don't know that broccoli is a good idea and that, exercise is important. And how do you get through to them, maybe with a combination of some motivational interviewing techniques and some other things? So, I think we're here to learn as well, to serve and to benefit. Anything else before we close this inaugural episode.
I think that covers the gist of it.
All right. Well, thank you, Kevin. I look forward to talking with you again soon.
Yeah.
And
thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Now, can you come out with our outro tagline?
Oh, you're gonna pull that on me, huh? I think we need we talked about that beforehand, but we didn't actually come up with one. So
yeah, we still don't have one. So
yeah,
give us your suggestions, everyone.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, coachy coo. All right, man. Talk to you later.
All right.